Since January, we've been working on our Harlow is 70 Why They Came Here project in partnership with Harlow Museum. We've made close to 40 filmed items interviewing people in Harlow. So why did you come here and why did you stay? And one of the things that we've learned is how closely people associated with the company they work for. And you get the feeling it wasn't just a place they went to work for from 9 to 5. And that applies to the 1950s, and people came to Pitney Bowes and Cossers, United Glass, etc., right to present day. So there is that feeling of past and indeed present. But we've now come to the Harlow Business Exhibition here at the Manor of Groves Hotel, and we're going to interview companies here, small, medium and large, and say not just about why you came here, but is there still that sense of identity with the company they work for, and do you have the sense of heritage, of being part of the heritage of Harlow, which our project is all about, yes, preserving it and celebrating it here in 2017, but also an ongoing celebration and making sure that the celebration of Harlow's heritage, and through organisations like Harlow Museum and Science Alive, continues to be cherished and grow and preserved from now and into the future.
Thank you, Ian, and it's a real pleasure to be here today. I think I've been at almost every one of the Harlow Business Exhibition. The reason why I came here today on this crazy day of all days for us is because business is incredibly important to Harlow, and Harlow is changing for the better over the next few years with the enterprise zone, with Public Health England, with businesses coming into our town, with the amazing college that we have, amazing schools. And actually it's going to be a very exciting place, an exciting place for business, exciting place for people to get jobs and apprenticeships. And that's why this business exhibition is incredibly important.
Well, we've been in the town since 1957. We were originally called Harlow Technical College, and we came to the town and started to expand because the nearest alternative college for our local residents was actually in Walthamstow, and the local residents were having lots of trouble travelling to that alternative education centre.
One of the things we've become conscious of in our Harlow is 70 project is people see their workplace as a family. Do you see, or do Harlow College see yourselves very much like a family?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we say Team Harlow. Team Harlow, that's what we say a lot in the college. We all definitely see ourselves as part of a family. It's a really good atmosphere, really good place to work, very supportive, lots of training and development for staff. So yeah, and very social as well. Lots of teams go out together socially outside of the college. So definitely, I live in Harlow, I work in Harlow, and I've always lived and worked in Harlow.
And do you see heritage as important? Are you aware of the tens of thousands of students who have gone to that college since you said the 50s?
Oh, definitely. I went to Harlow College myself, and my 3 children have all gone through Harlow College as well. So yeah, I think everybody you speak to has probably had somebody go through Harlow College, or certainly know somebody within their family who has.
And you talk about, you're born and brought up in Harlow. Are you proud to be from Harlow? Is that something you're proud of?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Harlow sometimes receives some negative press, but I always sing the praises of Harlow. I wouldn't want to move out of the town, definitely. And all my family's around me, and we all live in Harlow. Since my mum and dad came here, my dad actually came here for work when it was part of the new town, and there was prams, the pictures of all the prams. I was in one of those prams, so yeah.
We're planning to relocate several of our functions here from other parts of the country. We're going to be closing the offices and the functions at Colin down in North London, and also the majority of the functions at Porton down in Wiltshire. And we've also taken the recent decision to relocate the headquarters from London to come over as well, so that Harlow will be the headquarters of Public Health England.
Well, I think we've got a really exciting stage now in 2017. So we've got all the infrastructure going in over the next few months, and the first 2 buildings on the Science Park, we're starting to construct those in October of this year. A couple of years of planning, but now we're at the really exciting stage.
Are you aware, without sounding too portentous, that you're changing the landscape and in many ways shaping the history of the town?
I think in some ways it's about reinventing the whole raison d'etre of Harlow. I mean, Harlow was created as an industrial town, manufacturing businesses moving out of London. A lot of that clearly disappeared in the 80s and the 90s, and the town went into a bit of a slump. And absolutely, the enterprise zone is about bringing that back, about recreating Harlow's history as a centre of employment for the region.
Okay, well, we're a new company. We were formed in February just this year, and we took over the services that Kia previously provided to the council. So we cut the grass, trim the trees, repair the housing, and sweep the streets, and a whole range of things. So very new. Obviously, we're about 3-4 months old, but so far so good.
This film is part of the heritage project about why people came to Harlow. Harlow is 70. Do you have? And one thing we found, a sense of identity and belonging and family amongst employees of different Harlow organisations. Do you have that?
Well, I think we do, because we employ 350 people in HTS. The vast majority, around 90% of those, are people that have been brought up in Harlow, they live in Harlow, and of course they work in Harlow. So there's very much a close identity with the town. I think one of the points around setting up HTS is about us being a local business, serving local people for local benefit, really.
Harlow, although it's only 70 years old, it's got a fantastic history. The whole new town was created at a time similar to now, where there was a massive housing shortage in the country, where it was about giving people a better quality of life. And actually, one of the first things we did was really go back to the original plans for Harlow and what Gibbard's vision for the place was, in terms of creating a fantastic place to live in an amazing landscape. Thinking about where people were going to work, where people were going to go to school and learn, and creating that whole environment. And it's always been a really pioneering place, and we felt that this was really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to help put a blueprint for its future and to help it grow and to regenerate and to get more investment.
Without sounding like a history exam question, but it will do, have you learned a lot about Harlow in the time that you've been working on this project?
Yeah, we've been working on this for 10 years already, so this was never a quick project for us, and we've spent a lot of time really starting, I think, to understand the place. I think people have a lot of preconceptions about Harlow and new towns, and actually they're wrong. They're brilliant examples of how town planning can really create fantastic places. And when you think about how quickly Harlow was built and how quickly all of that infrastructure went in, it's dated. Yes, it needs, as really good towns and cities do, to grow, to change, to adapt, and we've got the chance to do it. But I think once you spend time in Harlow, you do see a very different place.
Well, my name's James, and my business is H&E Media. We're a video production company based in Sawbridge Wharf.
And how long have you been running?
We've been in business now for 12 years, reformed as a limited company last year, and now we're taking on staff, so we've sort of grown quite rapidly in the last 3 years, which is obviously really exciting.
To a right is some of your films that you make for companies. What happens to these films?
So we would typically produce a video for a business or an organisation. We work with a lot of charities. Obviously most content now goes online, and we've got this sort of digital footprint for the future with the material that we've created for people, which is great to know that in years to come people can look back and see what we've created for them.
Because that's an interesting point, because when we were starting this Harlow 70 project, there are 5, 6, 7 films on YouTube about Harlow's history, but not that much. So in many ways you're creating a living archive of Harlow's business heritage, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, I guess we work with all kinds of organisations, lots of charities, third sector organisations, and we really tell their story and convey the passion about what they do for the benefit of their customers or the wider community. And yeah, it's really positive to be able to create that for them and to leave that as sort of a lasting legacy, really.
We are the local hospice for Harlow. We are a known name within there, and the way we operate within the hospice is we don't push ourselves to be a hospital. We are a hospice that allow people to come in and have their families come in and have their dogs come and stay with them and have that whole thing around them where they have got their home comforts, and essentially your home comforts are your family. So we see ourselves as a family within St Clair Hospice itself, but as a whole organisation and across the community, we're a community hospice, so we do see it as a family-based organisation, definitely, yeah.
Ian Hudson, Director of Harlow Business Exhibition. How many years now have you been running the business exhibition?
This is the 8th one, in about the 5th location. We're very pleased that over 60% of last year's exhibitors have returned, which means we've got 40% of new exhibitors. We've got a range of businesses from solicitors to banks to web design companies to IT support, typically the sort of businesses that operate in Harlow. So it's good to see people like Public Health England and Places for People, who hopefully are going to be building quite a lot of houses to the north of Harlow over the next few years.
When we were discussing coming to Harlow, and I remember when George Osborne came to announce that the government supported us, the Chief Executive took us to one side and he said, there's one thing that's really important here, that we will be good neighbours. And that's something that's gone across the organisation, it's something that we're all very aware of. The other thing to take into consideration is this is a 60-year business plan. So it's not as if we're here and then in 10 years' time we're going to be looking to go elsewhere. It's a 60-year commitment, which is a long commitment. When we came here, we wanted to do some research into it, and as the head of communications, it's a big part of what I need to know, and was very, very aware of the history of Harlow and the unique history in a way. And it's something that when you speak to people, they're very proud of, and it's very evident throughout the town just how proud they are of that history. And yeah, that's got to be built into every sort of facet of what we do and how we go forward.
I mean, the hospice started off as a house. It was a house that people bought bricks to start it. Those bricks are still there. The foundations of where the hospice started are still there. So we've grown tremendously. So when I first started 2 years ago, we were 2.6 million. Within 2 years, it now costs 4.2 million to run the hospice. And it's expanded tremendously. We have a new building round the back of the hospice. We have an 8-bed inpatient unit. But the foundations of where we started, it's lovely when people come to look around the hospice where we can go, where you are stood were the old garages, and they're now these amazing offices. So you can't, and where the inpatient unit was, it didn't exist because it was a house. So it's really lovely to see the expansion with regards to that. And not only that, from the new building round the back, we've been able to grow a hospice at home because they now have a base at the hospice. So even though we've only got 8 beds on the inpatient unit, we see thousands of people within their home community. So we travel to a wide breadth other than just where we are in Hastingwood.
And to the uninitiated, so to speak, when we talk about heritage, it's called K Park for specific reasons, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's named after Sir Charles Keogh, who on that site in 1966 was the inventor of fibre optic cable. And it's a great story now that in the 21st century, that technology that he invented in Harlow 50 years ago is being used to power the new data centre development that's happening there, and it's the new application of that technology that was created in Harlow.
So we could say that the whole park is a celebration. There is the past and the present and also the future all fused as one.
Yeah, I think, and the owners of the Keogh Park site are very proud of that heritage and actively use that in all of their promotional work, and the Science Park is about taking Harlow's story to the next level, really, to bring a lot of high-tech, science-based, technology-based companies into the town to create great futures for the kids of the town.
If you look at our employees, at the minute I'm saying goodbye to some very long-serving employees. I think a lot of people came onto the council all those years ago. They've been through, obviously, change with Kia and now working for HTS. But again, a good number of our people are people that their families came from the East End. They took their homes in Harlow. They got work with Harlow Council, then with Kia, and then with HTS. So very much so, those people that I'm saying goodbye to that are at their retirement age have worked in Harlow and indeed lived in Harlow all of their life.
And are you saying hello to people in that way?
Well, we very much need to, and it's all about that sustainable outcomes for us, really. As much as we're losing some fantastic expertise, we're working really hard to replace that expertise with some really good quality people. So I'm pleased to say that just in the last few weeks, our board have agreed that we're going to take on our first 6 apprentices. Now, those apprentices are going to be across a range of skills, not just trade skills like carpentry and plumbing skills, we're taking on people for business support arrangements and finance expertise as well. So we're really quite excited about welcoming those new people into our organisation and hopefully continuing the sustainable approach in the town.
And that is a big responsibility. I mean, a development of 10,000 homes, that's significant. There's a lot more development happening around the town. And all of us need to work together to make sure that when we're going about our schemes, we're bringing all of the infrastructure together at the right time. Because one of the biggest risks to Harlow's growth is that that infrastructure doesn't go in, that we don't get the investments in the roads and the hospital and everything else to support the jobs that are coming to the town. So, yeah, I mean, you can look at a master plan and think, that looks great, but then thinking about every step of the way, how we can deliver it, does stretch your mind.
So in conclusion, we've interviewed over a dozen companies here in Harlow, small and medium and large, etc. And it's clear that they do celebrate the past and they are here in the present and are looking forward to the future. As a company in Harlow, and having that feeling of family, it's changed, but also acknowledging the future of Harlow, but also, looking at the heritage. You probably saw, interviews with people like People for Places, talk about Gilston or Harlow Science Park, and many other companies are saying, HGS, for example, and saying yes, it's important to be part of Harlow and to be part, and that distinct history. And they are, keepers of the flame might be seen as a certain term, but I think that's true of them. They want to continue it, that definite identity. And so it's good that they see that history and heritage are a really intrinsic part of Harlow and something that they will cherish. And we hope, and we're looking at the partnership we have had with Harlow Museum and saying, please celebrate that and preserve it and let it grow. Because that is important, from our, in that point of view, from Harlow in 2017 and onwards.